Hi everyone, Sandra Duran Wilson here, and welcome to Mixed Media Soul Sparks. This episode, I'm going to be sharing with you fiber paste collage elements. Might be wondering kind of what that is. Fiber paste is this very unique product that actually has fiber in it, so you use it like a paste, but it takes paint very differently. I like it because of the consistency that it goes through the stencils very well. But I'll show you some other types of paste that I use. But let me just talk briefly about what do I mean by the elements. Because this is going to be a piece that I make. I'm going to put the fiber paste through the stencil. Well, let me just show you that as I'm talking. So I've got my stencil taped down. This is a page protector. You could just use a piece of plastic. You want to put it on plastic though, not paper, because this is going to be removed. We're going to remove it from the plastic. So get it taped down. Choose a stencil that is pretty easy to use. You know, some stencils have the little parts that come up. This one's pretty smooth. I like to start from the center, work my way out. This is a brand new jar of fiber paste. It's nice and creamy. And you can see I'm putting it on pretty thick. Here I don't even see the stencil below. It doesn't have to be the same depth at all. It can have a variety of depth. Like here it's pretty thin and there it's thicker. If you wanted to mix color into this prior to applying it, you can do that as well. I like to do it this way. Now you're going to remove the stencil. I happen to have a deli sheet handy here, but I've also used other papers to get rid of this extra paste. So now I'm just scraping it until almost all of the paste is off. And the reason I like this is because I'll use these papers sometimes. And you can, even though it's white, you can see that there's quite a bit of paste there. And I'll just set that aside. Do it again. Anytime you use paste or gel on a stencil, you really want to wash it right away. And I'm just trying to get as much off as I can until I have a chance to wash this. So now this is going to have to dry, and being that it's on plastic, it'll probably take it a few hours to dry. But let me show you what you end up with. So here is one that is dry, and you can see these pieces are starting to come off. So you have to be careful with this. And this is what I'm going to do, is put gel over it. But I didn't paint this one first. I painted it after I put the gel on. So it can be different. This one I painted. So I'm using a fluid quinacridone gold and a very wet brush. And this is the nice thing about the paste, is that it takes the paint nicely. Now I suggest when you put your paste down and it dries, come back in immediately and do these next steps. These pieces have been on this plastic for a few days, and you see how easily they're coming off. If I had done this within a day of it drying, I wouldn't have had this issue. But I had to get everything ready for the video, so you just got to deal with it. But there's also some benefits to this as well, and I'll show you. So I'm kind of holding these pieces in place. Now, I could use a heavy gel or a regular gel to put over this. And the reason I would do that is because I want to keep this as one element, meaning that I can take the whole thing off. But because this is really starting to move, I'm going to use a pouring medium. And I've got a Deco Art pouring medium. Liquitex makes a pouring medium. You could also use just a gloss medium. Anything that you can just kind of pour onto here. And what this is going to do is it's going to make like a skin. It's going to hold all these pieces together. A little globby. And then I just carefully move this around, trying not to dislodge those pieces. But as I said, if you do this right after your fiber paste is dry, like probably within a day, it'll still be sticking to that plastic well enough to where you won't have the issue I'm having. Also, my paint's still a little wet, so it's moving around. But that's okay. Sometimes those things are kind of nice little accidents. See what happens. Okay, now this will get set aside to dry, and that can take a couple of days depending on your weather conditions. And let me move that out of the way and show you this one. So now the gel has dried, and I'm going to peel this off, and you can see that this is a very smooth side from the plastic, and the paint is on the back. So if I came in here with more paint, I'm not painting the individual pieces, I'm painting the skin. So in some ways, this is like a paint skin, which I've covered in one of the previous videos. So I might take a look at that. And if I look at it this way, and I use it as an element, then I've got the background is the gold, and this is the white. I could come back in the front and paint a different color. I find it easier to paint while I have it all in one piece, even if I'm going to cut it up and use different elements. So now you can just start to paint. You can even come in with paint pens and make designs on these, paint different colors. And then when you've got that how you like it, you could actually come in and cut this into shape. I'll show you what I mean. But first I want to show you this. So this one was made with stucco, and it was a Liquitex product. It's called ceramic stucco. I'm not even sure if you can still find it anymore. It's very similar to a coarse molding paste. But the reason I use this through the stencil is because it was about ready to dry. And when a product gets like that, you either have to use it right away. See how stiff I'm trying to get out? It's very, very stiff compared to that fiber paste, which was a new jar, very easy to use. So rather than just letting this sit in the jar and dry up and then I have to throw it away, I can make this, paint it, coat it with this, keep it stored between these plastic page protectors, and then it's ready to go. And I don't have, I haven't wasted my product. Sometimes, though, it's almost to that verge of that you can't really get it through a stencil. And that's what happened with this. I just made a sheet of, that peels off. This was, I don't know, resin sand, that's what it was called. It's pretty opaque, but there's a little bit of transparency to it. Again, it was just a matter of spreading it on the plastic and letting it dry so it wasn't going to be wasted. Then I can paint it and I can cut this into shapes. Now sometimes I have these leftovers. This is from where I was blotting a piece. And I can take this and I can paint it, and this is on paper, and I can easily use this as collage elements as well. Let me show you this piece. So here is one I made using a number stencil with the fiber paste. And then I painted it, and then I used the pouring medium, and now this is like one big sheet. And I can add that to this painting. But you see it doesn't quite fit. So I'm going to just start to cut up parts of this. And I can come in here and cut around these elements, as I call them. I could cut through the pieces, but I'm choosing to just kind of go through just the plastic and not the fiber paste. So then it can go like this, and I can cut out some of the other pieces and just start to fit them around here. I'm going to use a gloss gel to put this down to keep it clear, and then I'll come back in with a matte medium or a matte gel to unify this sheen, because this is more matte and this is glossy. So I'll show you the finished piece when I get that done. But I can even see some of the elements behind here. Maybe I'll cut out that shape and bring some other pieces around here. I don't have to, I could cut out individual elements. There's so many possibilities to use. But this is what I mean by collage elements. So use your fiber paste or whatever other product you might have that's still spreadable. Go through a stencil, let it dry, paint it, put your pouring medium on, let that dry, then peel it off of the plastic and cut it up in any shape you want to use in your collage or your acrylic painting. So that's it for this week, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Join the Creative Awakening community on Facebook, where you'll be able to post your art, connect with other creatives around the world, and ask questions. Use the hashtag Mixed Media Soul Sparks when posting your work on social media. Thanks for joining me.